a labor of love. The sticky bun, 12 5.6 ounce individual sticky buns, both with and without nuts. Okay, we've got quite a story here. I started with, my goodness. I wish you were here to smell it. So let's talk about the whys. What you're looking at is our sticky bun with no nuts on it. And you can barely see the dough, but it all begins and ends with the dough. Again, why Jimmy the Baker? Why America's Neighborhood Baker? What's so different? The big guys are going to make this dough today, and by the end of the day, that bun is going to go out the door. Not so with us. We're going to make the dough, this sweet dough, this rich brioche dough first. We're going to make it this morning. We're not going to touch it for 24, 36, sometimes even 48 hours, because I want that dough to do this kind of slow rise. As it's rising, slowly it becomes tender and cake-like. That's why you could stand up to the microwave. That's number one. It's the same filling as our cinnamon roll, but let's talk about caramel. Caramel, I'm going to say once again, 25 or 30 renditions before we got it right. Because what we found out with caramel is, don't forget, we're baking in the cup, we're putting the caramel on the bottom of the cup, we're putting the cinnamon bun on top of that, then we're baking it. Then we're sending it to you and you're reheating it. So a lot of times if we overbake it, you're going to get a gummy caramel. It's going to stick to your teeth. I didn't want that. So you've got a choice between the plain or the one with what we call mixed nuts. Sometimes it's more pecan, sometimes it's more walnuts, but we generally like to use both nuts on it. It's 12 5.6 ounce sticky buns. They're $46 or 4 easy pays of $11.50. That comes out to about $3.83. $3.83 per. You can either buy all plain, you can buy all nut. They're getting it without nuts. There are only 175 left. Sorry. If you want it with nuts, there are 500 left. And if you want the combo, 250, which is clearly the most popular, which appears to be moving faster than food. These are also on auto delivery as well every 60 days. So don't forget, $3.83 a piece, 4 easy pays of $11.50, and auto delivery is available. Next up, we're going to have our sticky bun with nuts. But I'll remind you, it's all about the dough. It's all about the caramel. Thanks, T. Let's take a look at this. So there we go. Ooh, voila. So once again, the dough stands up to the microwave a solid 30 seconds. Caramel and the nuts. Now, something about these nuts, okay? We have a nice crispy nut in there, so they're not going to be soggy when you get them. You're going to get these, by the way, they're going to be shipped to you ambient, which means they're not on dry ice. They're shipped to you direct. And you know what? A lot of you ask me, why don't I get cream cheese icing with it? And I think there's a little bit of confusion between the cinnamon roll and the sticky bun. Sticky bun is not normally served with cream cheese icing, although some of you have driven across state lines to buy, and I kid you not, to buy the icing from me directly. And I have to say I'm flattered by that. And they insist that they put it on the sticky buns. But a true sticky bun does not have cream cheese icing on it, so you're getting 12, either 12 plain, 12 without nuts, I should say, 12 with nuts, or the combo. No icing with it. You're going to take these home. When you get these home, they're all individually wrapped, as you can see. You're going to put them in the freezer. Now, these you want to thaw. You want to give them some real time to thaw out. It only takes about an hour. Now, you can absolutely go straight from the freezer to the microwave. But like everything else that you microwave, I like to give that time to come to room temperature so you get that nice even heat in the microwave. And then when you do that, you get something kind of like that. Look at that. My goodness gracious. If you could be this close, my sinuses are clear. That caramel stood up fine. Right now, I'm laughing because I'm really proud of my crew to make this caramel to the extent that we are. Because remember, this was an award winner. You guys voted this best of. And I have to say, I was really flattered. Of all the things that I make, I got to tell you, the two things that are most difficult for me as a commercial baker, cookies, which we'll talk about another time, are very difficult to make consistently. But a caramel sticky bun, to pull this all off, the dough, the brioche dough, to ferment just at the right pace, the caramel, to not only bake and come out of the oven, then go into a bag and then shipped across country, and then to stand up to a microwave and still look like that. My hat's off to Miguel and his crew down in the New Jersey plant in bakery, who do just a great job of slow cooking that caramel and making sure that it doesn't overheat. You're going to get 12 of these. 12 of these come to you for $46 or $3.83 a piece. Now, I will tell you that I stopped at a cinnamon bun bakery that didn't have nuts and didn't have caramel, and I paid nearly $5. Wasn't a bad product, I have to admit, it was pretty good. But I will tell you, I knew for a fact that that dough was not aged. The caramel was pretty good, but not near the love that we put in our caramel. So $3.83 a piece. So you can choose 12, plain, meaning just caramel with no nuts. And there's 150 of those remaining. So clearly you like those. On the all nut, all 12, which is also moving very quickly, we have 450 remaining. Now the combo, if you can't decide, we have 225 remaining. So I have to say thank you. And you've got auto delivery every 60 days. Thank you for, by the way, this on auto delivery, this is one of our most common auto delivery products. People clearly like this, which is again flattering and testimony to the bake staff that at Jimmy the Baker who understand the science that they cannot rush caramel. They got to let that dough do the dance, that slow fermentation dance, so they get a nice, how can I say, cake-like dough that stands up, by the way, to the microwave. So as I'm thinking of this is coming back of the countless renditions. And anybody who knows me knows that there are marks on the wall to my left of all the times I threw sheet pans. I was so frustrated. I didn't really do that, but people have seen me throw things in the garbage because I'm so frustrated. But this is a true mark of excellence. And I have to say thank you to Miguel and to Solomon and all the guys down there who really work hard at keeping this a real consistent and delicious product. 12 of these arrive to your door at $3.83 delivered to your door. Stick them right in the freezer. Don't be afraid. You don't necessarily, you can keep these in the refrigerator, but I would not keep them in the fridge for more than a week. So take one out of the freezer, put it in the fridge, or take one out of the freezer. It will thaw. I'm going to say maybe an hour. In about an hour at room temperature, it'll be ready. If you really, really got to get in there and when it's frozen, do small blasts of 10 or 15 seconds. Oh, by the way, you want to unwrap the sticky bun. You want to take the container, put it upside down on the plate, and you're going to microwave it like that for at least 30 seconds. Check it at 30 seconds. You're going to lift this off, and you might have some nuts stuck to the bottom, which is okay. That's what caramel is all about. Just scrape it in there and eat it right away. You'll find that you'll find the luscious cake-like texture. You'll find plenty of caramel within and without. This is kind of an unforgettable experience, especially dare you add some of that vanilla ice cream right on top and have your own pralines and cream bun. You didn't hear it from me. Guilty as charged. It's delicious. Mix that caramel up with some ice cream, with that warm caramel up with some ice cream. And just for a few moments, the world's troubles seem to fade away. I mean, eventually they come back, but at least for those few minutes, you're smiling. Promise you that. My hat's off again to the staff who did such a great job and worked really hard at doing this. You can see how it just stands up, even though it's been warmed. It's not wilting, it's not crumbling. Let's go over one more time. You can have either all plain, which means no nuts, 150 remaining. You can have all with nuts and the caramel, of course. There's 400 remaining, or I sense that combo is probably moving pretty quickly as well. And we've got 225 of those remaining. Remember again, these are an auto delivery. And remember again, let's talk about the cup. Here's another example, just like the crumb cake and the cinnamon roll. Another example of what a great job the cup does. It does not conduct heat. And as I mentioned before, when we were talking about the crumb cake, that those pans behind me, those cake pans behind me bake from the outside in. The outer edges of the cake are going to get done first before the center does. And that always bothered me. It's probably why those pans are still there. I rarely use them, to be honest with you. Okay. But this was even more important with the sticky bun, because I did not want, you know how you fight over the center of the cinnamon roll? You don't have to do that, because when you bake in these bad boys, they don't conduct heat. They don't sear the outer edge of the bun. You don't get that. Some people like the crispy edge. I have to admit that I kind of do at times, but in this case, I want every bun to be like the center cut. And you're only going to get that if you can bake evenly, almost from the inside out, which is not realistic, but however, you want that slow, even bake. And the only way that's going to do it is by dulling the heat on the outside to let the inside catch up. Now, the other part of baking in the cup is if you've done the right thing with the dough and you've fermented it the correct way, you've let it do that slow rise, you get this majestic, tall bun that has its own strength based just on the strength of the dough that's built up over two or 3 days in that nice, perfectly cooled refrigerator, where the dough gets to grow at a very slow pace and creates a supple, beautiful dough. And I can't wait till I can sink my teeth in that, by the way. And I'm so proud. Again, what separates Jimmy the Baker from everything else and everyone else is our absolute devotion to process. Without, you can have a great recipe, and this is another example. This is another great example of a great recipe with lousy process ruins the baked good. If you've got great process, and I have to say that I probably stress great process way more than I stress recipe as I get older, because I can see what great process does just about any decent recipe. It keeps it head and shoulders above everybody else. And as long as I'm standing in this bakery, we'll be committed to process and committed to you, because we know that you like to benefit by great process and great recipes. So thank you for that. So let's talk about one more time today's bonus bun. We had the